Hello again, guys. Back with some more Betty and Barney Hill abduction story, right? This story took place September 19, and I guess they say 9 and 20 also, of 1961. I once again, I took a couple hours of watching the videos and just checking out some things like I told you guys before in my other videos previous to this one. I feel as though there's something not right here either. Now, yes, I understand this story sounds believable, which of course, that's how these methods are with these individuals, right? They're good going folks, but then there's something behind all that. Like, for instance, I have a question as to why you only see Barney's sessions, and I'm talking about the 1964 session that he supposedly had as well, right? So on YouTube, obviously, you find it, but you don't find Betty's unless somebody out there can, give me a link to it, because I'm just curious as to why is it that we're only seeing what Barney said, on his sessions. Another thing that I had was wondering, of course, is that, when they said supposedly that they didn't do them in the same room, the sessions, according to what they were the Dr. Simon, separate sessions. Okay, now here's another mystery, guys. Because I've noticed that there's always these so-called psychologists. I mean, maybe they have real good degrees, I don't doubt that, of course. But what I'm saying is, what if they worked along with these people? Because of course, if they get recognized and gain a lot of money, so can they, right? So, again, man, it just feels like a story that it does sound believable. But again, I'm saying to myself, okay, so then why is it that they're managed to see how much aliens are in the corridor when they say, oh, there was 9 of them? Okay? Your emotion, right? You can't even think straight, because the first thing that hits you is fear, okay? You don't know what's going on. You don't know whether they're going to kill you. You don't know. That's the first, I believe, that's the first emotion that anyone would feel, okay? So I don't think you would take the time to count how many of those aliens are in the hallway, corridor, right? That's just my opinion, guys. That's how I feel about this. It does seem genuine, okay? But again, it just seemed like it was more into it seems more like it was Betty trying to make this a alien UFO real type phenomenon, It doesn't seem like Barney was really into that. Or, like I said before, it's possible that it might have been a real government experiment. Because, I mean, you never know, guys. You never know. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, Barney was in the military. So, we can say the same thing about the Howard Menger story, right? Because I finished telling you guys for these past few months already. It's a hoax. But anyways, this story, again, although it sounds believable, there's some things that just raises red flags on it, guys. I'm sorry, because you're counting how many people in the corridor, and you're filled with fear. You know what I'm saying? And then at one point, we heard that Barney brought the dog out of the car, and then neither one of them say what happened to the dog. Remember? Because Barney said he brought his dog, okay, out of the car, put the dog on a leash, and brought the dog out of the car. Now it seems like the dog disappeared. So I don't know. And I know at one point they came back to the car and there's the dog. I mean, I don't know. We can look at it in many ways, this story, and I want to believe it. So, I mean, I know a lot of people out there is going to be like, well, gee, you're so fucking close-minded, kid. No, it's not that I'm close-minded. And I apologize, for those who really believe this story. Again, listen, I believe in this, okay? I believe that we're not alone in the universe. As I've been telling you guys in all my videos, okay? I don't shy away from that fact. Okay, so I'm hoping that none of you guys out there see me as a straight edge, skeptic, because I'm not. I'm open-minded, and I'm willing to accept things. But again, if there is no evidence to prove your claim, then we have to proclaim it as a hoax. Okay? Now, yes, I know she said something about her dress. They took her dress and there were... Okay, listen, okay, I understand all that. But again, when it comes to the couple, it does sound like it's the same, but then I'm wondering, why did it take them 2 years to do a session with a doctor? Now, yeah, people are going to come to the fan and say, oh, well, yeah, it's because, we managed to... We were not ready then because, people hated black people and stuff like that, and she was married to a black guy, so basically it was gonna, he might have been in big trouble because then the white people would have thought, oh man, this guy's trying to get over on us, But then again, who knows? We have no idea, okay? Then, of course, Betty's niece currently is the one promoting the story, the Betty and Barney story. Again, guys, listen. To me, sometimes it feels like people are just trying to gain, attention from these type of stories. Because if you, again, you have to show evidence to the people, okay? We all are here in the world. There's those of us, of course, who care and want to know, are we alone or are we not alone in the universe? We want to know. All these people claim experiences, yet they never come back with something. She claimed that the leader, right, gave her a book because she asked him for proof, for something, solid evidence, so that when she comes back to Earth, that is, right, from the spaceship, that she may be able to prove without reasonable doubt that she really did have those experiences. But then, see, she didn't come back with no book. Because according to her, the leader, as she calls him, right, went to the 9, and they were having a discussion, and then supposedly he said that he cannot give her the book, but gave her a map instead. Okay? But you see, the thing I don't understand is she was able to put this map in her head somehow and tell you what it looked like. Okay? It wasn't like she got extraterrestrial thing in her hand and to show us some form of high technology map or something. Now I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this one, but hey, listen, it's fine with me. And I'm not the first person to talk about I'm sure Betty and Barney, I'm not the first person. I'm not the first person to say I believe this story, but yet there's a couple of inconsistencies here and there, which, you see, that kind of shows you that it smells of a hoax. See? No, just because he's a postal worker and, his wife is a social worker, right? So that means they wouldn't do something like that, right? But then you guys know about Howard Menger and his wife, Constance Mitchells, right? Or Constance Weber, who later became Connie Menger, right? Like I told you guys, May 26, 1958. Howard Menger had his job, right? But then, of course, since all this UFO alien phenomenon started making him popular, what happened? He let go of his painting stuff, because he had a little shop. But again, we're not talking about the Mengers anymore. This is Barney and Betty and Barney. Makes me feel like this is the Flintstones. Yeah, well, like I said, guys, you can give me your opinions about this story. You can help me out with this one, because again, I was looking to see if we can find any sessions, right, from 1964 where supposedly those sessions took place, 2 years after the incident. You only see on YouTube Barney's session with the doctor, Benjamin Simon, but you don't see the other one with Betty. You see, of course, later on. You see what I'm saying? So, for me, it's almost like I don't know, guys, listen. If you wanted to investigate something such as this, right? and it's a real serious situation, why would you play those tapes for these people? That's another thing that got my attention also, because you figure, okay, supposedly they didn't remember 2 hours of that day, September 19th, September 20th, right? They don't remember 2 hours of it. But then this doctor decides, oh, I'm going to play the tape back to them. No, see, for me, I believe that should have not been the approach. The reason why, because you're tainting the whole story if you do that. Now they're gonna mention all those stuff from the session, and then people are gonna start doubting even more, like me. See? Because again, even though they took that break for 2 years, they didn't decide to say anything, but then all of a sudden they did. Once again, I just believe that they shouldn't have been able to hear their own sessions. You know, because if you was really investigating this story and you wanted to make sure that they're not just another group, a bunch of hoaxers, you know? So, I don't know. That's just my opinion on that, guys. You know, you can, like I said, give me your opinions about this. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, so I'd be willing to admit that I am wrong. You know? But like I said, it's just, it's tough, man. Some of these stories are tough. You know, because of course they were the first abduction story in America. Right? But then I don't know how that can be, because I don't know. I'd just rather just leave it to this conclusion that I decided that this may be true, but then again, I believe that there's too many red flags to give this story 100% as a factual story, you know? I would give this story more like 70% inaccurate and 30% real. I know you guys are going to be hard on me and say, what? You know, 70% inconsistent? Again, that's my opinion. Like I said, I just saw too many flaws, you know, I mean, I'm sure you guys would look at that for me if I was having these events. But again, I'm going to try my best to remember, right? If I had any form of proof of an abduction of my own, I would try my best for those people out there, for you guys to believe me. And no, I'm not just going to be saying it on a record or interviews or, hey, why don't you buy my book? I got it all in my book. Once again, guys, that's exactly what happens. When these situations happen, why would you need to write a book about it? Now I know that's life, right, guys? That's life. That people always got to write books about certain experiences that they went through or whatever it is. Even fantasy, right? I understand that. But when it comes to these stories, okay? These so-called true stories, you don't need to write a book. What you need to do is step up and show the people, that be us, facts. If you have it, show it to us. I just like it when they're always so quick to, again, that's why I tell you, these people, right, that make these such claims, they always do the runaround. So if you ask them a certain question, that would be the wrong question to ask them. Okay? Because now they'll be like, oh, you're such a skeptic. Your mind's not open. You're not willing to listen. I am willing to listen. If you show me facts, yes, I am willing to listen to you. And then I say, well, that story was a good story. It's a real factual event that happened with these people in September of 1961. I wouldn't shy away from it if it's a real story. I just feel that there's not enough evidence. I don't care about this so-called star map. That doesn't mean anything, okay? She could have made it up, obviously. Okay, so, I mean, it just doesn't make sense that a woman or a man, right? Well, more Betty, because she's the one that got the star map from the extraterrestrial. Okay, I'll go back to that in 1 second, but let's follow me here, please, people. What I'm saying on this one is this, right? Okay. she manages to have the star map all in her head, obviously, right? You went to school. She went to school, right? Obviously, she went all the way to her high school and college and all that good stuff. But what I don't understand is for her to say that she doesn't know about the stars. I don't believe that. I'm sorry, guys. I really don't. I'm not saying that everybody know exactly all the stars in the universe. I'm not saying that. But for anyone who have been in school, okay, and you move on to college to get degrees, right? You clearly can't be a stupid person. You have to be smart. Okay? What do we learn here in our country of America? Huh? We learn history, we learn science, we learn math. Okay? We learn how to read and write. Come on, people. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's a lot of things that didn't make sense, you know? Other than that, I would have said the story is true. I would have said that, of course. And look, they said Barney had an IQ of 140, right? See? I don't know. And then when you think about it, he said he saw a pancake with a roll of windows. I don't know, why would he describe a UFO, right? Unidentified flying object, as a pancake? Again, I'm just saying, this is a man who has an IQ of 140. He knows, okay, that to identify something such as that as a pancake, come on, that doesn't make no sense. Maybe I'm wrong, guys. I would have considered it more a plate, right? Because when plates are more, I would say a plate would be more described as an unidentified object. Okay, but he said a pancake. A pancake is completely flat. Right? See? That's what I'm saying. A lot of things don't make sense, man. Maybe it's just me, guys. Maybe it's just me. And I'm trying to cope with this story. I am. I'm trying to be more open-minded. But once again, you know, she had the opportunity to communicate with the one she calls the leader, because he's the only one that spoke Spanish, English, according to her, right? So if he's the only one who spoke English and you called him the leader, why didn't you ask him, was he the leader of that group that he came with, right? You would think she asked that question, but she didn't. How can you not ask that question? You can ask any other questions, but that one? That's the part I don't get, guys. That's the part I don't get. You know, so I mean, I'm sure you guys are probably going to be mad at me, some of you anyways. But I just believe that it doesn't make sense. You know, you managed to communicate with this being, yet you don't ask him whether he's the leader or not. But yet you're going to say to us that he was the leader because that's the name you guys gave him. He spoke English, right? So why not ask him the question? Also, I'm still thinking about, why is it that Barney said that they didn't move their mouths? Of course, because we all going to be thinking, oh, well, they telepathics. That's how they talk. They just communicate in that manner. Okay, well, if that's the way they communicate, fine. Betty said that they spoke, one of them, who they called the leader, speak English. But again, Barney said that they didn't speak verbally. They spoke mentally. I don't know. So you guys going to have to really break that story down in the way you can. And again, I know I'm not the only one that's done this story. But, you know, it did catch my attention as well. You know, like any other story, which I'm going to continue showing you guys different other stories. Because I believe that, you know, we should all look at these stories and decide for ourselves whether you believe that this story is real. So I ask you guys out there now, if you believe this story is real, please explain to me how and in what way. Because put yourself in that position, right? Wouldn't the first thing that set in would be fear? Not happiness, and you all of a sudden you're having a conversation with an extraterrestrial. And then supposedly that Barney was frozen or something, but then she was able to fight with the aliens, right, guys? That right there really, like, I mean, that's tough, guys. That's tough. You know, I mean, you have a man, look at him. You can see Barney was way bigger, taller, seems stronger. But yet she was the one supposedly physically move, like trying to fight them physically. And they didn't freeze her though, but they did Barney, right? Now, like I said, man, you know, there's people that continue with this story. They try to support this story continually. Again, because it's all, in my opinion, it's all about money, right? Because that's what it's all about on this universe, this planet. It's all about money on this planet. Now I know everything shouldn't be free. I understand that. But we are curious about the universe. I see it's time that, you know, and there are people asking questions to the government, and I like that there's a lot of them out there. And it is because they're good efforts in bringing this forward to Congress and whoever they need to bring it to. I say the time is now. We're not living in the Stone Age, guys. We're not. So I don't understand why our government, the United States, or the world for that matter, why they don't bring this information forward to us and tell us, yes, we're not alone in the universe. I think they're afraid to come forward because perhaps there's some things like contracts or something like contracts made with these beings, and they may not be something that we're gonna like. You know, I don't know. I'm guessing here. But, you know, for me, in my opinion, I believe that humanity should come first over anyone outside of this planet. You know? That's just what I believe, guys. You know, this is a topic that I rather speak about here because, you see, we noticed in our daily lives where, you know, we go and wake up and whatever, we get ourselves ready for work, but everything seems the same. Everything seems the same stuff all over again. This almost seems like the movie The Matrix. You know, how we live in a world of somewhat make-believe. But it's wrong for us to ask questions. I don't think it's wrong. I think it's right if we keep asking these questions. Because again, we need to know. We do need to know. And again, I don't mean to offend anyone when I speak about any of these stories, simply because I am trying to show you, okay? And I'm sure you guys out there probably know, because I'm not the only one who present things as this way. See, you can get any information you want in America, guys, when it comes to these type of stories. I mean, it's not that hard to look. If you know where to look, though, you know. I'm still sticking with my guns. I just say that this story is somewhat believable, but I just think it's just too much things that clashes with reality. And that's why I said I believe that it's 70% a hoax and 30% real. Well, maybe I'm saying the 30% simply because Betty was the one that had some sort of dreams of, you know, extraterrestrials and stuff like that. And for those who say she never read books of aliens and all that, please stop lying. Listen, okay? Stop. I don't want to hear none of that stuff. For them to imply that these people, I would say mainly Betty than Barney, you know? Because again, he didn't really believe in it. Have you listened to the session? Or maybe he was just playing a role, you know? But then again, this is what I'm saying about this. How can you not know about the Howard Menger story? Or George Adamski and the others. I'm sure they knew who they were. Maybe not personally, but I'm sure they heard of him. If not Barney, Betty did, I'm sure. Right? And then here's another catch, guys. These two get married where? In New Jersey. New Jersey, Camden, New Jersey, which is near, of course, Highbridge. If that's not Highbridge itself, right? I don't know. You guys decide with this. But I already told you my opinion about this story here. And if there's anyone out there that can help me find the session that Benjamin Simon, Dr. Benjamin Simon, had with Betty Hill in 1961, please, 64, excuse me, I would ask that somebody show me the link so I can check it out myself, because all I keep seeing is just one side, and seeing that one side is not enough for me. That's saying that it was given the opportunity for Betty to examine Barney's side of the story and then came out as if it's one and the same. Just remember I said it though, guys, okay? That's what I'm believing. Because it just doesn't make sense that why was she all of a sudden, now it all blends into one simply because Betty heard her husband's sessions. So now she's able, throughout the years after he died in 1969, she was able to now bring forth two stories into one and blend them together, right? And now the people are going to believe more in the story simply because she had an opportunity to study Barney's sessions of his side. Once again, you guys decide, man. You guys decide. On a different note, I would like to talk about, real quick, psychics. I know I mentioned that before. I know there's people that claim to be psychics, and they're out there. I'm not going to mention their names. I'm sure you guys know who they are. There happens to be a young guy who's 18 years old, or 19, I believe, who claims to talk to the dead. But the funny part is, he only do this for celebrities. Now, I don't know if someone already did videos about that, but, I feel that in this particular video, I want to mention it because I just figure that, for someone to claim that they don't know nothing about no celebrities is a liar. All right? Now, look, I can prove to you guys that certain things about myself in terms of knowing all celebrities, I don't, because I know some celebrities, if you want to name a couple, but not all of them, okay? But here you got a young man who claims to speak to the dead, but of course, it's a high profile where you get paid big money to cold read people and just look at them and smile like that's some funny stuff. That's not funny. Not one bit at all. I think no one should prey on people's emotions, especially when, they're still missing their loved ones. And I think that is wrong for anyone to prey on anyone like that. If I was a psychic, once again, you see, I don't know, maybe it's me, guys. Because I believe if I was a psychic, I would not charge anyone to see the future. Like I said, they could make themselves rich, right? All they got to do is speak to the dead and see if they tell them the lottery numbers, and then there they go. They don't need to get money from us. I don't know. I guess I'm different. I'd rather be a different person than to be like everyone else. That's not what I want to do. And that's why I say thank you to YouTube, the creators of YouTube, because you give people like me the opportunity to speak to other people out there with this platform and open some people's minds. And I respect that there are many people like that, man, that want to know the truth. There's many truths out there, guys. Many, I really wish that I had contact with an extraterrestrial, not of this planet. Because then I would be able to prove to everyone out there, that be you guys, that yes, everything is real when it comes to me. And once again, we live in one small planet with a star known as the sun, of course, that lived billions of lives. And that's why sometimes I doubt when people keep talking about abductions and, the operations on humans, and because that doesn't make sense, people. You would think if we had these, bear with me, okay, if these so-called advanced civilizations, right, God created us, right? So why would you need to continue to examine the human body? If we've been here for hundreds and thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions and billions of years, right? Humanity. Why would these beings need to continue to examine us in those ways? Now, I know there's somebody gonna be smart out there and try to say something different, because again, they're gonna say maybe because they want to make us a better race on Earth. I don't know. That's why I talk about how religion is man-made, but you have to look at the science and understand that there's something there. When they talk about God, Yahweh, Allah, or any other names out there, I just believe that, early humans believed in advanced civilizations because they were here before with them, side by side. And then I believe since men have progressed to this right now, which we are using now more of our brains and stuff like that, and using more technology, way different than Stone Age times and stuff, I believe that they kind of make contracts with the people on Earth. That be the governments of the world. What kind of contracts? Maybe we'll never know. That Granada Treaty stuff, I don't know if that's real or not. Again, these people could make all those claims. There's no way to prove some of those things, of people making those claims. The Battle of Los Angeles, now that is something that I would have to say I kind of believe right there, because as you guys saw, right, many of you know when this took place in Los Angeles. I think it was 1942 or something like that, where they shot about 1,400, I guess, ballistic stuff or whatever it was, and this object would not fall from the sky. But yet you have the military saying it was a balloon. Oh my God. See what I mean, guys? You're shooting something, right, in the air that they claim was a balloon. Would it have already fallen? And that's what I believe. If it was a balloon, it would have fell. But I guess not. Just pay attention, guys, to things that you think have somewhat of facts, but they're not real fact. There's still people pushing these stories they know that they're false. And those are the people you guys got to watch out for, because I believe that those are the people that, again, they're trying to make a living off of these lies, of these stories, okay? That's what I see. Some of these stories may be true, but I don't believe all of them are right, simply because a lot of these people, they're just not showing enough evidence to prove their claims, to be solid. And when you got these other people claiming that, oh no, that story was it was official, because I'm such and such, and I got degrees, and I came from nowhere to something, and and shut up. That's not something we want to hear, because what we want to hear is the truth. If you believe a story is not real, why don't you just tell us, instead of going to do lectures and lie some more about the story just so you can make money, right? Make a living off of the people, right? With these stories that are not real. That's my opinion, though. Any of those lecturers out there that want to come and talk to me, yeah, I'm willing to talk to you, but if you're willing to show me some form of proof, That would be nice. You know, because all that talking, it's not really going to validate anything. I say if you talk, if you show me solid evidence, then I will confirm it. And then I would talk to the people and tell them that it's true, that I was wrong. But at this particular moment, point in my life, again, as I already told you guys, as for many of you who know my age, I'm not a young teenager. I'm 43 years old, so not to say that, there isn't younger men out there that are just as smart, I'm just saying that have an open mind about looking into these stories. That's all I'm saying. Don't just accept these stories just because they're telling you that these stories are real. Examine these stories. Take your time to examine them. If you feel you need time to examine it. Because again, a lot of these people they make up these stories, and some of them are not who you think they are. I guess you can call them wolves in sheep's clothing, right? Because they're outgoing people with good jobs. Right? It could be anyone. And not for nothing, but this is the first story I realized that there's a black man in it, in terms of being abducted and aliens. And not trying to get racial here, guys. I'm just saying, because the majority of these contactee stories come from, one race, basically. So this is basically the first that I see where there's a black man involved in the story. But I don't think that he was the one that pushed it. I think that Betty was the one that pushed this story as real. Well, guys, I guess I'm going to be closing here. And again, if I confused anyone, I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm just trying to show you, pay attention to certain details of this story. And perhaps you see what I see. That's why when I first posted about this story, I said, do you see what I see? Okay? Because as soon as I realized all those red flags in the story, that's when I was like, oh my God. Another yet believable yet hoax. Right? Because that's how they have to make these stories. They have to make them believable so you can believe them. Even if they're full of nonsense. Well, just remember, these people wrote books. So, just letting you guys know that if something was so real such as that, I don't know, I'm just curious as to why people need to write books. Just to tell you certain things like this. When they can use these type of platforms, okay, such as YouTube, to get their point across, positively, of course, and professionally, of course. Occasionally, you guys will hear me swear. I understand that I'm not trying to overstep or disrespect anyone, and from now on, I guess I will carry myself with a better tone. I don't want anyone to misunderstand me when I swear about these stories, because that's not what I'm doing. Sometimes I let my emotions get the best of me when it comes to these stories. So once again, I'm going to say to you guys about this story is 70%, in my opinion, is a hoax. Just another hoax, just like the other ones. And there's a small 30%, because of course, anything's possible, but I just see too many red flags, guys. I'm sorry, Maybe someone can prove me wrong on this one too. The other one was undisputed, so there's no disputing the other ones that they were hoaxes. But this one, like I said, it's up to you guys. So if you like this video, hit the like button. If you don't, give me a hate button, the dislike. You can subscribe if you like. You can hit the subscribe button if you like. If you don't, that's fine with me. But I end this how I began, guys, with respect to any and all who are willing to listen to this story and other stories that I got prepared. So I would have to say, we can continue with this story if you guys like, if you got questions about it, and I can continue with it or just move on to the next. So till then, see you guys in the next video.